What is up, Ararians? Welcome back to my channel. This is Rohit, Raina, and I'm really sorry that I have kind of vanished. And this is my first video. This is my first movie review after probably month and a half's gap. And I am going to review today the Malayalam thriller horror film Attention Please, which I saw last night. This is not going to be a super long review, super elaborate review, so I'll keep it short. Okay, so this film, the star of the film essentially is the character called Hari. The film is directed by Jithin Isaac Thomas. This film was lying in my on my Netflix watch list from I don't know, maybe 2 months. Somebody did recommend this film to me in one of my live sessions, and when I saw it last night in my watch list, I was like, the poster did not look very appealing, but I thought let me read the synopsis on Netflix, and I read it, and I was like, okay, this seems like really exciting stuff. I might enjoy this. It was about 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. I thought that's the kind of movie that I will not fall asleep watching. It seems like it will keep me on the edge. And was the decision good? Do I regret taking that decision, or am I happy? So I'll tell you whether I like the film or not. I'll rate the movie at the end or later. This is again another Malayalam thriller film with open to interpretation elements. There is so much in this film. On the surface, it's a regular thriller. Four five flatmates get together. I mean, they are together. Get together for a party, for drinks. They go to the terrace, and then one of them, the scriptwriter, starts telling them stories. Those are creepy stories. Sometimes those are not creepy stories. And just to kill time, just to enjoy their drinks, and some scary stuff happens. Meanwhile, and there are maybe one or two new characters that are added to the plot. There is suspense of what is going to happen next, what will happen 5 minutes from now, half an hour from now, what is the deal about this guy. So on the surface, it seems like something. If you tell this plot to someone you want to recommend this movie to, it will not sound very fresh. 5 friends, one of them is telling them stories over drinks. But when you start to watch the film, there is such rich characterization of these people, despite the fact that you do not get into their backstories. You do not know how they have led their life in detail. But the movie, the dialogues, how the film presents these people through their conversations, through their real conversations, you get a good hang of, you get a good insight into their what kind of people they are. What are their likes, what are their dislikes, what are their motivations, why they talk a certain way, why they think a certain way. And of course, there is there is no protagonist as such, but I mean, yeah, I think we can say Hari is the protagonist here, because he has the biggest chunk, the most role. He's the storyteller here, and there is stuff that happens, that goes on. So I was initially I was right into the film, because it's always a fun film, seeing a bunch of guys in a very raw setup, not a very candy floss setup, not those cool dudes, Kartik Aaryan type dudes, very regular dudes who live together in an apartment, which is a very real apartment. It's not a Karan Johar wala film wala apartment, or any apartment, Love Ranjan apartment. So it's a very regular middle class apartment, middle class people. They have their own struggles. They're living now. It's probably in evening time, and they want to chill out. They want to have some drinks. So I was into it. I found it very relatable, because I have myself lived in a hostel, so there was more relatability factor for me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I was in, and then this guy starts telling stories. I think the first few stories are not that scary. Then it gets creepier once they reach the terrace, and I was on the edge. I was totally on the edge. I was like one of those young boys in that film, small mustache and beard, maybe the youngest, the shortest of the guy. He was like, he was super scared. He was super creeped out. I was almost that guy. I was like, okay, what's going to happen now? And there were moments when I thought to myself, okay, is this guy going to kill himself? Is this guy going to roll over that boundary on his terrace? What is going to happen? Like, I know it was quite apparent that shit is going to hit the fan, but how exactly? And it does. And now, spoilers ahead. If you have not watched the film, the shit does hit the fan. The writer loses it, and okay, let me not tell you the whole thing. He loses his shit and he does something, and after that the movie gets scarier. And I really like the fact that instead of handing him with a weapon and telling this to you, like, okay, this is why the other guys are scared of him, the movie keeps it very real. He has no weapon. He abandons that bottle with which he stabbed someone. He is barehanded, but still those three people are scared of him because one, he's burly, he's bulky, he probably has more power than those three people. Two, he's the one who has lost it. So even if you are fighting him, even if you are trying to sneak up to him, he might overpower you, and the worst can happen, which already has with one person. And that's what I liked about the film, that it kept that part the way it did. I'm sure there may have been people, people who have watched this film and they would have said, okay, why did these three people not attack him? There were two guys and there was one girl. I understand why they did not. As characters, as people maybe in the real world, they would have also done the same. They also wouldn't have they wouldn't have acted. And then the movie goes on. There is one more stabbing which we don't see. We just assume that happened. And at the end, the final shot, okay, the big spoiler ahead, the final shot is what I think a lot of people will have different takeaways from that shot. What exactly happened there? Was it all a dream? Was it all an imagination? Was he just writing a story and we saw a visualization of the story the scriptwriter was writing, or did it actually happen? What exactly happened there? My theory is probably the theory of most people who have watched this film, is that he was writing the story. Everything that happened in the film, that we saw in the film, was part of the story, was a story that he was writing in real time during the course of the film. But then that written story starts coming to life in the last 10 seconds of the film. This guy comes from the bathroom and says, okay, there was one guy on the tree when I was bathing, and he tells him, they exchange a dialogue. The dialogue is straight from that script that he wrote, and then Hari realizes he probably has some he has a flash. He's like, okay, so maybe the story that I have written, it's coming to life, because this exact exchange of dialogues happened in my story, what I have written, and this has exactly happened in real life. So whatever else I have written, maybe that is also going to happen now. So maybe I am going to lose my shit and I'm going to start killing these people and scaring these people. And there is that smile. It's not an evil smile like in most films that we see, in most Hindi films mostly. It's a smile. He gets excited by this prospect that this creepy story, the scary, maddening story that he has written probably will come to life. That is how the film ends. And that was it was a wholesome experience. I signed up to watch a thriller that would keep me engaged every second of the way, and it did not disappoint. I was engaged every step of the way. I was engaged in those tales that Hari was telling, what is going to happen in those tales, what is going to happen in this real life of these five people. I was thoroughly engaged. I did not feel bored. There are some times when you question the vagueness of it, because there is a lot of vagueness in the film. Sometimes you wonder where exactly is this film going, but that's all intentional. That is all intentional. That is part of the film. That is part of the intended plot by the director or by the writer. So overall, I love this film. Thank you so much to the person who recommended this film to me. You can comment under this video, and I'll personally thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, so how would I rate it? So as a film, I do not want to change anything in this film. This is as perfect as a film could be. But I have to speak in a wider context. Like, will I watch this film again? Will I be interested in this film again? Will I show this film to someone? I can recommend this film to anybody, but I'm not sure if I can watch this film again. If it has that rewatchable value. Thrillers, there are also thrillers which have that value. I'm not sure if this film has that, but then my judgment is clouded by the fact that there is insane availability of films and TV shows today, as opposed to how the scenario was 10-15 years ago. When I used to repeat films, when I used to watch one film, if I liked that film, I would watch it like, I don't know, 5 dozen times more, because there was limited availability. But today there is so much availability. Even if you like really love a film, even if you think you have just watched the greatest film ever in your life, you might still not end up repeating that film, because there is so much else to watch, so much fresh content out there. So still if I can get that bias, if I can try to get that bias out of my head, will I be able to watch it again? Will I enjoy the film? If I have to rewatch it, I will. It is a well-made film, but yeah, it's still a kind of film that may not appeal to me as much. I may not wait for certain scenes, for certain dialogues in the film, as I would to a film that I want to repeat. Like in recent times, I have watched films like Swati Kiranam, Sankarabharanam, or my favorites, Raj Kapoor's Savara. I keep going back to those films. I keep repeating those films. I may not be able to do that with this film. I will not look forward to a lot of scenes, to a lot of dialogues, to a lot of exchanges between the different characters as I do with those films. So for that, I will rate the film 8 out of 10. But it's a very strong 8. Within the context of this film, it's a perfect film. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing that's amiss. But in a wider context of cinema, it's 8 out of 10 for me. And that's it. That's the review. Thank you so much for watching.